And by the way, some good news that Biden did. They updated the Special Immigrant Juvenile Petitions. As background, if you are under 21 years old or you know a child who's under 21, every person should consider, for any child under the age of 21, a Special Immigrant Juvenile Petition. That doesn't mean that every child in the United States qualifies for a Special Immigrant Juvenile Petition, but I would say a large amount of children, I don't know if it's a majority of children who are undocumented, but certainly a large amount of children who are under 21 would qualify for Special Immigrant Juvenile Petitions. What you need, and Biden just liberalized the rules even more, we'll talk about in a second, but I want to make it very clear for anybody out there that knows children or has children who are under 21 and undocumented, you should be listening very closely about the Special Immigrant Juvenile Petition. It is a way to legalize your children, children in your family, such as nieces or nephews or grandchildren, or even children that you're aware of that need to be legalized. Green card. And what you have to do is somebody has to go into family court and get legal guardianship of this child who is under the age of 21. As part of the legal guardianship, you have to be able to prove to a judge that it is not in the child's best interest to be reunited with at least one of his or her biological parents because of abandonment, abuse, or neglect. Almost any child who's in a one-parent home, or any child with a parent who is in another country, at least has one parent in another country, would most likely qualify, presuming that they haven't seen that parent in a long time. You only need one parent. The other parent can go into family court, because sometimes people say, well, I don't want somebody else to become legal guardian of my child. Mm-hmm. The parent who has the child can go into family court. You don't even have to be documented to become their legal guardian. You could be undocumented too and become their legal guardian. And if you get that guardianship with that special ruling, which I just talked about, only takes a few months. Family court in any state, 2, 3, 4 months, done. You can turn around immediately, file an adjustment for that child who's under the age of 21 years old. That child gets a green card. Now, because so many people are doing Special Immigrant Juvenile Petitions, there's going to start becoming a backlog of people who are eligible for green cards through Special Immigrant Juvenile Petitions. And the reason is it's a weird thing that we talk about categorically where you are on a waiting list. There's an actual waiting list for Special Immigrant Juveniles. They fall in the even though it has nothing to do with employment, it's a humanitarian application, but Special Immigrant Juveniles fall into the 4th preference category of employment-based petitions, because that's where special immigrants are. Mm-mm. And eventually there's going to be a backlog for special immigrants. So what the Biden administration said is, because there's going to be a backlog, there's going to be a visa waiting list for SIJS applications, Special Immigrant Juveniles. If you file your Special Immigrant Juvenile, you can get deferred, you get approved, you can get deferred action, you can get a work permit. Deferred action means you can't get deported. A work permit, you can go do your thing, get your social security number, even if you're not eligible yet to file your adjustment application. The other thing they did in terms of law changes is they codified that as long as you're a child under the age of 21, you can do this. The Trump administration tried to make a regulation to make it under 18 only. And there were a lot of children between 18 and 21 who got kind of stuck. And there's a lot of litigation that resulted because of this. The Biden administration is now solidified, codified, however identified you want to call it, that you now can be under 21. Okay. So that's good news, at least. And I mean, there's really no, I don't know how many grandmothers out there. And by the way, grandmas, I'm not anti-grandma. Okay, I'm very pro-grandma. I love my grandma, and I love all the grandmas.
Right.
Okay, but there's a lot of grandmas and there's a lot of aunties out there and uncles and grandpas who are taking care of children because their parents were unable to take care of them.
Mm-hmm.
And they feel, because I've heard this for 30 years, they did all they can because they raised this child.
Mm-hmm.
But you didn't do all you can if you just raised this child and let this child grow up to be undocumented in the United States of America. And I am telling you point blank, you can legalize these children. I get this every month where somebody comes in and it's like, oh, I was raised by grandma, I was raised by my aunt, I was raised by my uncle. They never did anything for me.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks for watching. For more Bradshaw Live, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.